Good morning, everyone. It's June the 21st, 2022. I'd like to welcome everybody to the work session. Ellen, do we have any public comment?
We do. Wes McAden.
If you don't mind, Wes, step right up here to the microphone, please.
Thank you very much for having me today. I'm Wes McAden, and I represent the Air Medcare Network program on behalf of Global Medical Response. Here in northern Alabama, you probably best recognize us as Air Evac Life Team, the helicopter ambulance service with base locations in Tuscumbia, Cullman, Scottsboro, coming soon Athens, to the north in Winchester, Tennessee, which does business as Erlinger Light Force 5, and then also in Lawrenceburg, Tennessee. So we've got your area kind of well surrounded. Total aircraft in the state of Alabama right now, right at 9, multiple supporting from neighboring states, and then collectively a little north of 340 rotor and fixed wing aircraft servicing the United States. We're now the largest air ambulance network provider in the world, I believe. The Air Medcare Network program is just a simple member-based program we offer whereby if, God forbid, you or anyone that lives under the roof of your house, regardless of family status, regardless of insurance coverage, had to be airlifted for a medical emergency from the road, from the home, from one hospital facility to another. There's a fairly robust bill that can come along with that ride, and even with good insurance, you can still find yourself with significant out-of-pocket expense, and this program eliminates that. And how it works is really simple. Normal circumstances when we transport a patient, like any healthcare provider, we'll file through your insurance for payment for the flight if you have it. Regardless of one's decision to participate in this program, we do advocate on your behalf to try to capture as much from the insurance company or companies as possible. We file through the appropriate carriers in the appropriate order. After those efforts are exhausted, if there's a balance left over, it's normally patient responsibility. So obviously that would be your deductible, co-insurance, co-pays, any unpaid portion of the bill charges. As an Air Medcare Network member, same process is going to happen. The only difference is that balance is considered prepaid in full. So you have no out-of-pocket expense. Deductible, co-insurance, co-pay. The entire flight bill, if it were declined based on medical necessity, which unfortunately happens a bit more frequently than what you might imagine, it is a household membership, so it covers everyone that lives under the roof of the house, again, regardless of family status and regardless of insurance coverage. It flags to where the insurance is being billed to. But unlike insurance, there's no premium, there's no deductible, there's no pre-existing condition, there's no age limitation. Residency in the home is really the only prerequisite. If there's a drawback to the program, it's this. It's where we function like insurance. We're not an insurance company, we're an air ambulance company. So it's a membership program versus an insurance product, which means it works with our provider network, aircraft only. It doesn't reciprocate the service providers outside of our network. We just have the good fortune now to be the biggest network provider in the world, the dominant provider here, and the game in town locally with our new helicopter coming in here to Athens. It is unlimited flight coverage, which means I hope in a million years nobody ever has to use it, but there's no limit to how many times anyone under the roof of the house could. We have patients with chronic health issues. We've had to fly 3 and 4 times during the course of a year. Again, no limit to how many times it can be employed. And then it covers you not only here in the backyard with our aircraft locally, but everywhere that we have a base across the United States. So if you're traveling, it can protect you while you're on the road as well. So my interest in being here today is to share with you a program that we can make available to your workforce, the county workforce, as a voluntary benefit through a limited payroll deduction. And I've put a copy of the plan agreement in your folder in front of you. But when we do a business plan, we discount the membership fee based on the size of the workforce. We only have to have a minimum of 3 participating, so it's not based off the total enrollment, but on the potential. Again, we only need a minimum of 3 to participate. But based on the size of your workforce, the membership fee for the 1 year is $60 a year per household. It's $170 for the 3-year membership. It's $275 for the 5-year membership, and $520 for the 10-year membership. So I use the 10-year just quickly because it's the easy math, but when you take that number and you divide it by 10 years, it's $52 a year versus $60 a year. The benefit to doing any of the multi-years is not so much the savings on the annual basis as it is you're locked in at that rate for that length of time, so you're not subject to a rate increase during that time frame were there to be one, obviously. The program that we've introduced, and I've shared this with Ms. Morell, and I've also shared it with Brittany Gravitt as well, is to do a payroll deduct over 6 pay periods. So how that would work, Matt, was that?
Well, just go ahead and finish up right there we at. Go ahead and finish up right there we at.
Okay, so how the payroll deduct plan would work would basically be, just hypothetically, let's say we facilitated the enrollment this month. We would invoice the county for the total amount at the end of the month. You would facilitate 2 payroll deductions in July with a payment of 1/3 of the total amount at the end of the month for an August 1 effective date of coverage. There would be 2 more payroll deductions with a payment at the end of August, and then 2 more payroll deductions with a payment at the end of September. The process is completed, and now those memberships are paid for in full. So for those individuals that did do a multi-year, the next 9 years, 4 years, 2 years belong to them, regardless of their employment status here. So really what you all are doing is making the membership available at a discounted rate and with the luxury of being able to pay for it in 6 installments versus 1 lump sum. So it makes it a little bit easier on your lower salaried and hourly employees as well.
Thank you, Wes. So we'll run this by Brittany, and I mean, it sounds like a good program to me, so we'll look into it and be getting back with you.
Yeah, I'd like to ask, if you don't mind.
Yeah, if anybody got any questions, sorry about that.
Questions? Absolutely.
This can be paid lump sum.
Yes, sir.
All right, what if an employee don't work here anymore? What if an employee quits or?
Oh, right. So let's just say hypothetically you've got the program in place, and if I'm following you correctly, let's just say they've already made 2 payroll deductions, but then they've terminated, so they're halfway through whatever they've paid for.
Mm-hmm.
2 options, 2 things we can do. Number 1, they can either leave with whatever they've paid for to that point. So if they bought a 3-year and they've made 3 payments towards a 3-year, they'll leave with half that membership fee. Or hopefully what we would like is your human resource department to let us know that John Doe is terminating or has gone into a benefit ineligible status.
Okay.
And then we can reach out to him and say, hey, look, here are your options. You can either leave with what you have, or you can go ahead and make that membership whole at the discounted rate and pay for the balance with a credit card or a check before the termination becomes official. Because once they're terminated, then they no longer qualify for the employee discount. So if we know that they're getting ready to leave, we can at least reach out to them and they can pay for the balance themselves. But
Okay.
there's no risk by doing it the way we're proposing. There's no financial outlay by the county. There's no financial risk to the county. And y'all are just making it available at a discount and with the luxury of 6 installments.
If the membership's paid, he takes the membership with
Correct,
him
it's
wherever
portable,
he
it's portable.
goes.
So if you
Yeah.
purchase
Correct.
a 10-year membership after 6 pay periods, it's yours, you own it, it belongs to you regardless of whether you work for the county or you don't.
Right.
Okay, that's what I wanted to
Yeah,
know.
I'm sorry,
No, no
I'm
problem.
clarifying further. So.
Hey, thank
Anybody got
you.
anything else for Wes?
No, sir.
We thank you for your time, and like I said, it sounds like a good service. I mean, most people spend that much money going to eat a steak supper once a month.
We did an employee interest, so I started reaching out to Ellen, I guess back in January, February, and then since then, we did an employee interest survey with your workforce, and for those that responded, we had about a 16% say, yes, they're interested in it. You'll probably have some that are already members in it. For those that are already members, if they want to take advantage of the discount and the deduct, they won't lose any time that they've already paid for. It'll just add to what they already have. Historically, what I would tell you in terms of year 1 enrollment is about 19 to 20% of the workforce historically, and that's been pretty spot on, so.
All right.
Thank you, Wes.
If for some reason y'all pulled out from the hospital, they would get refunds.
Yeah, well, they probably wouldn't want it because if for some reason we left right here, I mean, you still have 3 helicopters around you in Tuscumbia, Coleman, Scottsboro, Tennessee, and every base we have across the United States. So, I mean,
The service.
service
is still there.
everywhere we have a base, so, but I don't see that thing going anywhere, especially since we just put it here, so.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Ellen, will have anybody else?
We do not.
Thank you, ma'am. All right, today on the agenda, first thing we'll have is the minutes from June the 7th of 2022. Does anybody have any question about the minutes or any discussion? Will be taken up in the next meeting. All right, and the second thing on there will be the claims that we have to pay in the amount of $3,084,243.09. Anybody got a question with that figure or anything on the claims? All right, we have no resolutions, no orders, contracts, agreements, and grants. The first 2, I'll go through them. Approve an agreement to comply with the requirements for the Alabama Department of Senior Services Community Service Employment Program entered into by the Limestone County Commission at Tarcog, and the second one is to follow up kind of with that. It's approve an agreement to comply with the requirements of the Center for Workforce Inclusion Center Senior Community Services Employment Program entered into by the Limestone County Commission of Tarcog. Anybody got a discussion with either one of those agreements? All right, and the third one on here, we have done this in the past, and I think every year I've been here, we've applied for this COPS grant. So we have applied again. Mr. Terry Acuff will be taking up from here, and the three things are here be to approve to submit a COPS grant for the funding and of the amount of 3 new deputies at the cost of these 3 deputies for 3 years is approximately $615,000. The COPS grant will fund up to $125,000 per year per new hire. The COPS grant would be $375,000 with the county's match of the amount of $240,000. Any discussion with that? All right. No discussion. We have no budget revisions, no emergency purchases, no board appointments, no award of bids. Personnel action, I'll read through it, then we'll go over see if anybody has any discussion with anybody. First one here will be to approve to transfer William Keith Chandler from the jail corporal to jail sergeant effective June the 21st, 2022. Second on here will be to approve to hire John Thomas Wall as a part-time traffic enforcement deputy effective 6/21 of 2022, pending a drug screening. Third on here will be to approve to hire Clarence Edward Thompson Jr. as a corrections officer effective 6/21 of 2022, pending a drug screening. And fourth on here will be to approve to hire Jasmine Ramirez Chavez as a corrections officer effective 6/21 of 2022, pending a drug screening. And so with anybody got any questions with any one of those 4? And then we'll go over the rest of it. And I hope I pronounced her name right. If I didn't, I'm sorry. Number 5 will be, this right here is a position that we're going to create, and it's approved to amend the staffing plan to add 1 transitional payroll specialist for grade 17 under administrative department. And this here will be to train with Alicia, which is retiring. And, you know, with payroll, we have to get everybody's paycheck. So this will be, she's retiring in November. And by the time we get hired and get somebody found out, and somebody needs to be with her a few months before she retires in November. So that's what this position is. It's just it's a temporary position that was just to be hired to train for payroll. I know that everybody's paycheck is vital to their livelihood, and we want everybody to get their paycheck. So that's not unless you're the county engineer that got his checking account hacked one time and he didn't miss his for 3 weeks. But I mean,
Wow.
that's beside the point. I mean,
Wow.
so, but anyhow, I got to have my paycheck. So that's what this is for. Anybody got any discussion with that? And I want to thank Alicia for her years of service, and I know she's going to enjoy retirement. So, and then next one, number 6 is to approve the job description for that job. Anybody got any more discussion with either one of that? All right, number 7 on here will be to approve to amend the personnel policy and procedures to add a 4th under the section 17 transfers, which states as the following. The Limestone County Commission reserves the right to place an employee in whatever job is deemed useful or necessary. All jobs transfer, reassignments, promotions, or lateral transfers are at discretion of the Limestone County Commission. And anybody got any discussion with this? And basically what this boils down to is that an employee, if it's on probation and we transfer an employee from one, we can transfer them into another position without having to, because that way it can be easier to transfer. We got some employees that are transferring around right now. So any discussion with that? All right, we have several merit increases below. Anybody got any discussion with anybody on a merit increase? Engineers report, Mr. Massey.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We've got a few subdivisions for your consideration today. Charleston Phase 1, this is a major for final approval. This is 96 lots in District 2. This is across from Menifee Road, south side of Capshaw Road. And then we have Walton Creek. This is a major for preliminary approval. creating 101 new lots in District 2. This is north side of Pepper Road near Jones Road intersection. Luterville, this is a major subdivision for preliminary approval, creating 20 lots in District 3. This is north side of Nuclear Plant Road, approximately 400 feet west of Stewart Road intersection. Zaner Farms subdivision, this is a minor for preliminary and final, creating 8 lots in District 4. This is east side of Zaner Road, approximately 1,000 feet south of New Cut Road. Sammy Lane subdivision, this is a minor for preliminary and final, creating 4 lots in District 4, southwest of Highway 99, north side of Sammy Lane. With Big Creek Farm subdivision, this is a minor for preliminary and final, creating 1 lot in District 4. This is west of Tillman Mill Road, southwest side of Big Creek Road. And Mattyville Cove subdivision, this is minor for preliminary and final, creating 6 lots in District 3, south of Snake Road, south side of Bay Village Drive. And that's all that I have for your consideration.
Darrell, you didn't get one today.
I see that.
Now, Dan, nobody
Still
got
left
one as big
out.
as Danny got. Danny got some monstrosicas on here.
Yeah.
Will that Walton Creek be big enough to justify any traffic control devices there?
It's right at the edge.
Edge.
I mean, really, typically 100 to 125 lots is kind of where you start looking at that.
Ballpark.
So it's hovering right at the edge. Any additional phases should. But like I said, a first phase, it's kind of sitting there. They kind of cut it off right there at that edge to where it's not really going to have anything that's required at that point. But no, we have several subdivisions. This just kind of shows our growth that we're seeing. Our guys are staying busy all the time doing their inspections. But anyway, and then just to kind of bring you up to date on our paving, we are still in District 1. We're working on South Road currently. Should be finishing that up. Trucking created a bit of an issue for us this week. We're only going to get 1 load of liquid asphalt today instead of 2, just because of trucking. They can't get the drivers to get the material to us. So that's going to slow us down by a couple of days, and then we're still working with our asphalt provider to figure out where we're going to go next, because we're kind of in that window where trying to get back to 7 Mile Post, or whether we go to Wells Road, depending on where we can get asphalt from, given the locations of each of those. So we're working with our asphalt providers to figure out where we can get asphalt to go move to next. But hopefully I'll know by the end of the week.
If anybody has any power, lobby Rogers Group to open their asphalt plant back up in Athens.
Exactly. We need an Athens asphalt plant opened up.
Have they moved it, or is it
They
still
have
out
not.
there?
It's still sitting there. I spoke with them last week. It's still sitting there, operational. They hadn't even turned the utilities off. I mean, it can be operated at any point.
It looks like almost they would operate it for, if they just to certain situations.
I know, but I mean, that's the thing is, in the end, we can ask them, but they are very busy with the plants that they do have in the county, and that has slowed us down significantly. So we are trying to work with them. I told them we had about 3 weeks worth of chip seal, and we've actually given them about 4 weeks. So by the time we move back to them, so they should be easing up. But I'll know more this week whether or not I can get asphalt from where I can get asphalt from. If not, then we do have Wiregrass, who's our primary bidder, but it's all based off of distance from the plant. So once we get to where the distance offsets the cost savings between the two, then we usually switch over to Tanner. So
All the Wiregrass located in Huntsville.
in Huntsville. So I mean, that's the thing, is our haul really gets us a lot of and just the cost difference between the two are really it's determined based off how far we have to haul the material, on whether or not we can it makes sense to get it out of where the most cost effective is to get it out of from Wiregrass, or we need to go through Tanner. So.
Okay. You have anything else for Mark? All right. Alrighty. Moving on, we have a other business section. We have one thing. We have approved to increase the polling officials' pay by an extra $50 per election, retroactive, and this will be for the May 24th primary. And so that would be, we talked about that. Bobby came in and spoke with that. I mean, like I said, I don't think I wouldn't do it for what they're really getting paid for, plus the $50.
I wouldn't either.
So I mean, we think that and today is election day, you know. So I mean, they are out working today, and like I said, they're going to be there 14 hours a day for $100. So I mean, it's
So with the increase,
With the
you're still
increase-
getting $10 an hour, aren't you?
you're still getting about $10 an hour. So I mean, so I think it's a much needed thing, but that's up to y'all guys. But
Yeah.
anyhow, any discussion with that?
Yeah, folks don't realize what elections cost. I mean, and these folks right here, it's harder and harder, I know, for Bobby and the judge to get folks to poll watch, and it takes a lot of people for an election. So I understand these folks are not, they're sure not asking for anything that they don't deserve.
No, and they do a good job.
I guarantee you. They do, and we appreciate them.
Well, I mean, you know, the sad part is, you know, they can make twice that much money doing about anything per day, and they choose to come out here and provide a service for this county, and I want to thank them for their service.
That's true.
And as we grow, we'll probably add more polling places in the years. Now to just add more people to have to try to come up with, and I know that some areas of the county, they don't have as much trouble getting people to do other counties, but they have to shuffle them all over the counties, and I want to, you know, especially thank the people for this willingness that live. They may live in the East Limestone area, but they go to West Limestone to work, or they may live at Tanner and go to Ardmore to work for that polling day. So, and I know with the COVID and all this, that, and the other, a lot of the people traditionally were older people or retired people that done that service, and I know some people have gotten more scared to get out and all, and we have lost some of them, passed away. So that's been dedicated all these years. So I want to thank everybody for their service there. So no more discussion with that. We'll move on. We had no scheduled public hearings. Reports of officers. Commissioner Salmon.
I don't have anything, Mr. Chairman.
Commissioner Barksdale. Commissioner Black is absent today. Commissioner Townsend.
I don't have anything.
First of all, I want to thank Wes for coming in today and talking to us about the service. I want to thank the poll workers for what they do. I want to thank, you know, the newspaper for being here reporting today on us. I mean, the Decatur Daily Lady and the News Courier Lady. I want to thank y'all for all you do. I know y'all have been out covering the elections tonight, so it's going to be a long night for y'all, too. I'll see y'all here again probably at 7 o'clock tonight, so y'all will put in that 12-plus hours today, too. So, and I want to thank, first of all, I want to thank the Chamber. We had the State of the County a week ago today and had it on Flag Day. It was a really good thing. It really went well. Thank the Chamber for all they do for the county. I want to thank my fellow commissioners for being there with me and, you know, supporting. You know, I mean, this county is growing, and I want to thank them for all they've done, and administrative staff. You know, I mean, we couldn't do what we do if it wasn't for our staff. So, all righty, we will recess until 10 a.m. Thank y'all.
Well, I think the chairman did a good job at that presentation, and could you get him on the